Yeah, bro.
Let's get it.
Trying to stay productive, bro. Like, I don't I try not to, there be days where I'm like, I might sleep in an extra hour or two. But, I always make myself, even if it's not football related, bro, if it's calling my mom, if it's going to the grocery store, making sure, what I'm saying, I'm just doing something, bro. Like taking my dogs out or going, like, what I'm saying, anything that I can do, bro, like Pilates, yoga, anything that I can do to kind of stay productive, bro. I've been trying to stick with it,
I'm with you. I think this time period is really testing mental toughness and that mental fortitude of staying focused on your goal, because you have less distractions, as in you have less freedoms. You can't travel as much, but so many times people get stuck in that same mundane routine where it's like, okay, every day feels the same. I'm waking up at this time, whenever it may be. And I know, like for me, I got 3 workouts. I got to get a Peloton, I got to lift, and I got to throw. And it's like that same mundane routine. I've been doing that since March, like 4 months. And I'm with you though, but I can honestly say like every day I enjoy it. Every day I really enjoy that grind. Like no matter what workout I get, how hard it looks, how many days in a row I've worked out, I'm like, okay, let's wake up. Let's go get better today. Let's wake up. Let's go get better today. And I think like that mindset is what fuels you. So like when the season comes, you're not burnt out. You're like, let's go. Like I'm excited. I've been working since March for this. So let's go play ball.
Yep.
It's definitely, discipline comes into play because it's so easy to get off track and just say, well, I don't have nothing on the agenda today. Like,
let
me just kick it. Like, and then that one day turns into 2 and into 3. And it's like forcing yourself to stay disciplined, stay prepared to where even though somebody's not on you, like I don't have to get up at 6 a.m. and go meet. Like the strength coach isn't screaming at me on my last set. It's holding myself accountable and, being your own motivator.
You said it perfect, like being your own motivator, waking up, staying disciplined, because you said it when you talked about Will. It's like you stay ready so you never have to get ready. You're ready now and you're constantly working and improving. By the time the season comes, you've been ready.
Exactly.
So you're not the person that's behind, that's been chilling, and now the season comes and everything's like, oh, it's a panic. No, it's never a panic because we've been preparing for this opportunity for months now.
Yep, exactly.
Definitely. And fans, we are joined by an actual rocket scientist here, Josh Dobbs. 1 in a million right here. So Dobbs, speaking on that a little bit, talk to us about, recently, they did that launch down at Cape Canaveral, right down the road. And I saw that you were a part of that. Can you kind of talk about your experience with that process and what all you learned?
Yeah. So it's kind of a long, journey to get to that point. Back in February, I did an externship down at NASA, Kennedy Space Center. And there I began to work in the instrumentation department. So at Kennedy Space Center, many people think they build rockets there, but they don't do that at Kennedy Space Center. They build all the structures that accompanies the rocket during launch, when it's in the vertical assembly building. So my initial job and who I was involved with was in the instrumentation department, which is the group that builds and monitors the machines and mechanisms that assesses the rocket when it's in the vertical assembly building, when it's out at the pad, when it's on the rollout to the pad for launch. So I was within that group. So that group has many subsets. They get hazardous gas detection, where they are monitoring the rocket for hazardous gas leaks that could cause issues during launch. They have a wind profile system that profiles the wind on the launch to help the rocket's trajectory. They have a lightning detection system. They have accelerometers all over the rocket, managing, how much the rocket is shaking and accelerating, even though it's supposed to be static on the mobile launcher. They are working on building the mobile launcher now at Kennedy Space Center. So there's a lot going on. So I began in that group, and every day I would shadow a different person. And then from there, the opportunity really grew to kind of see what Kennedy Space Center does as a whole. So they're working on their main goal of NASA right now is the Artemis mission, which will eventually take the United States and humans back to the moon, to Mars. So they're working on launching the Artemis 1 mission, which is a proof of concept for that mission. Also at NASA, they have all types of things going on. And there's true innovation that's going on there. They're really creating new technology to help us here on Earth and then eventually in space. They have the SwampWorks lab where they're working on the next moon rover. They're working on changes to the astronaut suits. They have a department that works on converting trash to gas to be able to use trash and turn it into fuel for a rocket, whether it's a short mission to the International Space Station or to Mars. So then I got a chance to sit in like the cryogenics lab. They work on converting the loss of energy when they're fueling the rocket into some form of energy that they can use, powering something on the rocket. Then I got the chance to sit into like a launch sim in the LCC Launch Control Center. So it was like a lot of moving parts. It was really
So you did
dope.
the simulator?
So I didn't do a launch simulator down there. They have one in the visitor center. I did it once when I was a kid, but I didn't do it while I was down there. What I did do was pretty cool. They have like, do you know how we use like the little Oculus, like 3D, the virtual reality stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So they have some where they can put yourself like into like a 3D world. They use it for like maintenance on the rocket and astronauts fitting into different parts of the rocket to make sure like you can fit, but they can like put you in a 3D world and you can do whatever you want. Like I was playing like baseball in there, moving blocks.
That's cool.
So I'm trying to get with them to like make like a virtual like football game. I think that would be pretty dope.
Got you.
But there's like it's a lot of moving parts. So I was there for that process, and then I was able to go back down and see the SpaceX launch. So SpaceX launch, first time humans have gone from United States soil to space since the shuttle age in 2011. So I was able to go down and be there for that, and that was a really cool experience. I mean, there's like they had like the vice president, the president was there, a lot of like senators and representatives who were there. So no matter what your political view is, you know, to be able to take that in with the people that are funding the space program was a pretty cool experience. And then to see the launch and be there to witness history, put it all into perspective.
That's dope, bro. Yeah, I saw it on your page, and I'm just like, yo, I can tell like you were super excited about it. It's like the longest post on your page. I'm like, that's dope. Like, you know, something that you
yeah, it was like a whole
did a whole story on it.
When are we going back to the moon, Dobbs? Like, when are people going to the moon again?
So the Artemis mission was what would take us. That first rocket, when I left, it was in, they call it green run testing. It was in Mississippi. And that's where they take the first stage of the rocket. So the long part of the rocket that separates first. They were working on static testing on that stage to make sure everything checked out. And from there, it's getting sent to Kennedy Space Center. So it's probably on the way now, soon. And from there, they have to stack the rocket, run various tests. So the goal was to launch the first one at the end of this year. That's been pushed back to probably at the beginning of next year. The Artemis 2 mission will go to the moon. This one, the Artemis 1 will still go to the moon. We'll not have astronauts on it. It will go, practice, come around the moon, and come back. And the next one will have humans on it. So I would say in the next 3 years, people will be back on the moon. I think the goal is boots on the moon by 2024. And then from there, in the next 4 years, is to send the first human to Mars.
Is that something that you would want to do, like after football's over?
Be an astronaut or work for NASA?
Both. Would you like to go to space?
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah. After your career in the NFL, yeah, let's go to space.
That would be pretty cool bucket list thing, right? I don't know. Like, I think like the go-getter in me, the adventurous side of me says like, yes. I mean, that's like, so when I was down there, I was able to meet and talk with a lot of astronauts. You know, Leland Melvin, who played in the NFL. I had a short stint in the NFL, who was an astronaut, flew on several shuttle missions. Charlie Bolden, who was a NASA administrator and was an astronaut himself as well. So I was able to spend time with them. You know, a big thing that they shared with me, like being an astronaut, like, yeah, it's a personal decision, but it's also a family decision. You know, it's something that your family has to be able to accept those risks. So I think that's a decision for down the road and not right now as a very adventurous 25-year-old. But for those adventurous people out there, you know, they are starting to sell commercial seats for any civilian to go to space if you want. It only costs like $60 million, but you can go if you want.
Dang.
So it's a cool time in the space world, that's for sure.
That's dope, bro. That's dope.
Is that something like, so is this something for our fans that don't know, Josh, like, is this something that you've wanted to do since you were a kid? Like, have you always been interested in astrophysics, or is this like something that came about during college? How did your journey start?
So growing up, I was very interested in aviation. When we would go on trips, I was the kid that would look up the plane we were on, like who built it, who manufactured it, like what airlines flew certain planes. So by the time I was like in my early teens, like I knew the difference between like any Airbus and Boeing planes, which are two main commercial airframe manufacturers. I knew like what number airplane you would be on, who was flying the plane, and everything. So I was just like aviation geek per se. I loved the old Concorde jets, which were the first supersonic commercial planes. So like I was a big fan of aviation. I visited Kennedy Space Center when I was 7, and that's where I kind of started. That was my first introduction to the space world and seeing how they correlated. I was really good at math and science growing up. So when I was going to college and I was figuring out, okay, what do I want to study? So, okay, aerospace engineering, get to learn about aviation, learn about space, astronautics. And then from there, I was good at math and science. So it was a perfect mix of what I was good at, what I was passionate about. And that kind of propelled me to pursuing that degree field and has opened up a lot of doors for me in that world as well.
Okay, awesome.
That's dope. And then plus, like, I know a lot of people talk about it, but and then some may not even understand, but how hard it is just to be a student and an athlete, but to go to college and to play football as a Division I athlete and to be a aerophysics major, that's something to be proud of, bro, for sure.
Appreciate it. Hey, as you know, football takes up just about all your time in school.
For real, dog.
So it was. Like the biggest thing I share with people that is like, yes, it wasn't the easiest major. 1, it wasn't the easiest schedule to have. 2, but I think as anybody who's dedicated enough to their passions, whether it be football, whether it be engineering, whether it be music, whatever it may be, I think if you're dedicated enough, you're willing to sacrifice and work hard enough, like you can achieve that. And so for me to be able to do that really opened my eyes to, 1, understanding how to work toward a goal and dedicate yourself to your passions. But then 2, really showing like that you can do anything you put your mind to, literally. Like people would literally say, there's not enough hours in the day for you to do that. And I did it in 4 years,
Yeah.
And it was supposed to take 5 years. So I think just having that mindset, whereas like nothing phases you, you're able to go out, work hard each day, stack days, improve, grow, learn each day consecutively, and have that mental toughness to continue to grind and push forward. If you can do that, you can do just about anything.
So let me ask you this. What was the hardest part about aerophysics? Like for you, what was the hardest thing about it?
There were difficult classes. Some concepts were difficult. And that's just with anything. And those take time to learn, and whether it's learning in class, teaching yourself. So, yeah. And that was given. I knew that would be difficult. I'd say discipline, which in anything, that's the most difficult part. Being disciplined enough to realize that, your day is going to be class from 8 or 9 to 2 every day. You're going to have football from 2:30 till whenever you finish, usually 8 every day. And then you're tired. Yes. You want to go play video games? Yes. But you have to go do your homework. You have to go get ahead in your courses. You got to go study, put in the extra work in the library afterwards, and yes, I had some free weekends, and yes, I had some weekends that I couldn't do anything. And so being able to be disciplined and stay focused and stay on task, as you can imagine, and you lived through it as a 19, 20-year-old on a college campus, there's a lot of other things you could imagine yourself doing on weekends, but being conscious of, hey, why did I come to college? My goal was I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, and I wanted to dominate on the football field. That was it. That's why I wanted to go to college. So having those goals in mind, every decision I made and continue to make are with those goals in mind. Is this helping me achieve why I came to school? So I think the discipline is the hardest part, but once you are able to define your decision-making process and understand what's important and what's not, it really simplifies itself.
For sure, bro. Dope, man. I always wanted to know about it. I never really got deep into you with it, you know what I'm saying? But I always been wanting to know about that side of you, bro.
It's